Philip, I love Philip. He's the principal of the British School of Etiquette. Yes, there is such a thing. And I asked him, what's the best thing to do here?
Malcolm, firstly, I think a lot of us don't realize how powerful our body language is. We really have the most important connection with people through the power of our body language. 7% of our words are effectual, whereas 38% of our tone and 55% of our body language really count for the communication we incorporate with other people. So firstly, I would always come in with a very sort of a smile, warm body language, so nothing that looks aggressive. That's the first thing. And I would make sure that the tonality, in other words, my voice, the timbre of my voice, is calm and comes across with a feeling of respect. That's the first thing I would do. And I would greet the other person and say, look, my name is so-and-so, how are you? I would really like to just mention to you that parking space over there that you've utilized today is actually, I pay for that particular parking. May I suggest, and then come up with a solution. I think one of the things that I think we can really help ourselves in doing in life is not try and solve everything, but find a solution. Find a solution, find an alternative parking bay that you could suggest to that individual of where they could possibly park.
It's an age-old problem, isn't it? Somebody in your parking space. But is it normal to get annoyed by that?
I think initial reaction, absolutely. I think it's a world-over situation and problem. Wherever you go in the world, people are very possessive, funny enough, about their parking bays or their terrain, their sort of domain, if that makes sense. No disrespect, just the other day I parked sort of in between two parking bays respectfully. So there was parking for one car on the left, one car on the right, but it happened to be in front of someone's driveway. But it was a genuinely marketed parking bay, and it didn't belong to anybody. The person came out of the home and said to me, would you mind not parking there, please? It's not convenient for us. People are very territorial, and I think this is the first thing we need to take on board, is to take a step back. I shared something with one of your amazing producers yesterday. We incorporate something, and we share this at the British School of Etiquette. It's called the 6-second rule. I think all of us should stop and count to 6 seconds in our heads before we engage with people, especially under these circumstances that we know rev our motors. We know it upsets us. Bite the bullet, count to 6 seconds, and handle it in a polite and diplomatic way. Do not let your mood dictate your manners, because a lot of the time, people who are really, really well-mannered, really respect other people and are very polite and engaging, but the moment something revs their motor, boom, they snap. They snap and they get all aggressive. They put their boxing gloves on, and now they want to confront someone and say, "Hey, what are you parking there for? That's my parking bay." They get aggressive. Whereas if you bring in a 6-second rule into your life, you will see relationships become better. You will see your interaction with people become so much better.
And what happens if the person who has your parking space says, "Well, no, I'm not actually going to move"? What happens then?
Again, don't lower your standards. In my opinion, I think there's such a strong phrase which we coin at the British School of Etiquette, and that is the power of etiquette and manners. And I think the test of good manners is very much to be patient with the bad ones. So when someone comes back at you with an aggressive, that sort of aggressive approach, or they're just putting their foot down and they say, "No, well, it's not my problem, it's your problem." I think again, just incorporate your good manners, your good etiquette, and approach them with good tonality. I think be patient, and again, you can be firm. You can having good manners and etiquette can also give you the ability to tell someone to disappear and make them look forward to the journey, if you use the correct tonality and the correct language as well. So I think be persistent. Don't give up if someone's rude back to you. Don't be rude back to them. Go engage with them with the correct tone and the correct mannerisms, and just explain to that person the situation. I think a lot of people don't understand the situation at hand, and so people jump to conclusions, or the other person puts their boxing gloves on because they are feeling they're being scolded or they've been put in the corner. That old feeling of being put in the corner at school can often trigger someone into reacting in an inappropriate way.
We spoke to Philip Sykes about this. Now, Philip is excellent. He's the principal of the British School of Etiquette, and he's a friend of the show. Well, we're going to return to our chat with Phil now, because we moved it on a little bit more, and I asked him, why is it that maybe small things in some people's eyes can be really big things to us things that make us really angry, that wind us up. And what can we do about them?
I think a lot of the time we're not very present. I think a lot of the time our minds are racing ahead of everything else, and we need to be more present, Malcolm. I think in life, we as human beings, we try and take on too much. We need to be more focused, more present. And when I say more present is be very aware of your situational awareness. We talk about this a lot at the British School of Etiquette. Situational awareness. Know what's going on around you. Look at what's happening and see how you can support other people, see how you can help one another, and see if you are doing the right thing. In other words, if you have situational awareness, you might think twice about parking in someone else's parking bay. You might think maybe that doesn't belong to me, maybe that belongs to somebody else. Is there a sign here that sort of says that parking bay is reserved? So I think there are many ways we as human beings can slow down and not overreact in many, many situations. And again, I'm going to bring that 6-second rule into play. It saves relationships, it saves marriages, it saves business deals, it helps you in every facet of your life. We don't get it right all the time, Malcolm. You know, the head, in other words, the brain and the tongue don't work in tandem. We often think something and our tongue's already spat it out, and we think, I'm awfully sorry, I didn't mean to say that. So I think every time we speak, we give life to our words. Every time we speak, we give life to our words, and you cannot take those words back. So it's about slowing down and being more present.
So when you think to yourself, I can't sort this out because I don't like confrontation, actually, the best way to sort it out is by being non-confrontational, correct?
Definitely non-confrontational. Secondly, it won't eat you up. There are many people who hold back because they're too nice, too polite, too kind, and they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or cause a scene. It then starts to eat you up. You can't please everybody all the time. So by communicating, this art of communication, I think, has been lost amongst a lot of us. And it's being brave and saying hello and introduce yourself in a nice way and come in with the correct tonality. Use your manners, use your mannerisms. Malcolm, there's a wonderful phrase I think the world is very familiar with, is do unto others as we would like people to do unto us, or treat people the way we would like to be treated. Now, I'm going to give you the platinum rule. That is the golden rule. The platinum rule is treat other people the way they would like to be treated or expect to be treated, then go back to being you. Not everyone wants to be treated in the same way as Philip or Malcolm or Oscar or any people or people. We all have different ways of handling things, and the moment we start to give ourselves the opportunity to try and understand the other person, the easier it is that we're going to be able to connect with them, handle them, or help a situation.
And just remind us of the 6-second rule again, because I think that's perfect.
So the 6-second rule is, in life we trigger, we have the feeling and the emotion way before we actually say it. Our bodies pick it up. So if we can become very self-aware of ourselves, that 6-second rule will help you to check in with yourself. It's just a few seconds. It might be 3 seconds. Some people might need 20 seconds. Some people may even need to go for a walk around the block. But it is giving yourself that respite. It's giving yourself that window to really put your mindset in the correct channel that you can then engage with that person. As I said, you don't get it right all the time, but I tell you what, it is something to really incorporate into your life and try and keep trying and keep trying, and you will eventually get a lot of these 6-second rules right.